Have things been going well for you?
Yeah, always like this time of year once you get past the allergies, of course. But that kind of is past, and now we're right in the throes of the capital campaign, and I look forward to the fruit that it will deliver, but I'll be happy when the process is over.
Bet.
But you got to go through the process to get to the good stuff later on, I guess. Talk about your analogies. That's like,
true, right?
Eternal life or going to heaven is like you got to do your tough stuff up front before you get to enjoy the good stuff later on.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like in our culture today, no one really wants to do the tough stuff. People are good with well, not no one, but they want to. It's just kind of like, well, it's good enough here, and you get used to this. I'm comfortable with good enough.
Yeah, you kind of people are short-sighted.
Yeah.
You kind of see what's before your nose, and that's it. And it's obvious we all want heaven or eternity, but what does that really mean? When you can say that, who wants to go to heaven? Everybody's going to raise your hand just like that, but are you willing to do the hard work of what it requires on the front end of things?
Right.
So,
I always say that in confirmation retreats. I always ask that, what's your goal in life to go to heaven? They all raise their hand to go to heaven. Give me that CCD answer.
Yeah.
That's so good. You remember that, but why? And they just kind of look at me and say, why would your goal to be in heaven for eternity when you can't make it an hour at Mass?
Right, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm glad that's your goal, but it doesn't make any sense at all.
There's a disconnect, yeah.
And I don't think there's I get the sense that there's no hurry for salvation at all, that they've accepted the fact that we have a loving and merciful God. They just kind of bank on that, like, I'll just do what I'm doing, and He's a loving and merciful God, so we'll be good on that end there. So that's taken care of. I'll do this over here. And
the readings during Advent were very much, in the beginning of the Advent season, they're focused on the coming of Christ again at the end of time and all that. And so my kind of theme was, I don't care how old you are, whether you're 2 or 102, compared to eternity, we have about 2 minutes to figure this whole thing out. So, then we're going to wrap it up. We got 2 minutes to wrap this whole thing up. So, to your point, yes, there's a certain sense of urgency. I think that's lost on people because you get so caught up in the busyness of daily life.
Yeah.
And you just don't see beyond that. You know what the word busy stands for? I'm sure in Catholic circles it's kind of a common acronym, right?
What is that? I've heard it, but I forgot it.
BUSY, being under Satan's yoke. So you're so darn busy doing everything,
That's true.
Too busy for God or too busy for salvation. Now, how many times people say, I can't make it to Mass because, I'm awfully busy. We got this soccer game, we got this and that. I mean, come on, that's just an excuse.
Yeah.